Sometimes the person that's most closest to you is the one that's the most dangerous. Because that's what happened in today's story when the closest person to this family was the one that betrayed them the most. This is a story about Valerie Tindall, who grew up with her family in Indianapolis, Indiana, with her mother Sheena Sandifer and her father Jack Tindall. Now, Valerie's mother felt that Indianapolis was not a good place to live at anymore due to the increase in violence, and because of that, it also caused trauma to Valerie. So Sheena felt that the best thing to do was to pack up her family and move to a new location, where they ended up moving over to Arlington, Indiana. Now, the family felt that Arlington, Indiana was the best choice for them because one, it has a really low crime rate, and two, upon moving there, Valerie's grades had went up when she started school there, as well as she started thinking about going to college, where she actually got accepted into a college. She even started working at a job she'd been at for 2 years, where she worked for a landscaping company that was owned by her neighbor, Patrick Scott. Now, Valerie got close to the Scott family, all because she became friends with the owner, as well as became friends with their granddaughter. Now, Sheena had started getting concerns about the daughter's relationship with the owner because she felt that he was being a little bit inappropriate with her being a teenager. The reason why she started having some concerns about their relationship was because Scott was giving Valerie money, food, and gas, as well as taking her on trips, in which in most cases this would be considered grooming. But Valerie went ahead and reassured her mother that that's not what's going on and that the relationship is strictly platonic. Now, Sheena felt that Patrick may have been taking advantage of Valerie just because of the fact that she's dealt with some trauma, and he may be taking advantage of that whole entire situation. But Valerie reassured her like that's not what's going on, and so Sheena felt that she raised her daughter right and that she's able to take care of herself. But all that changed on June 7th of 2023 when Valerie mysteriously disappeared. Because on June 7th, Valerie had went ahead and told her parents she's going to go ahead and head to work. And she left at the door, let them know that she would be back later on the night after she gets off of work. And so her parents said goodbye and that they'll see you later. But later on in the day, they started getting concerned when they didn't hear from Valerie because she didn't respond to any text messages or phone calls. And so they got the concern and had went ahead and contacted her boss, Patrick Scott, to see if he had seen her, in which he said he saw her earlier that day. But then after that, he didn't see her afterwards. So being the concerned parents that they are, they went ahead and notified the police to go ahead and put out a missing person report to let them know that their daughter is missing and they have not heard from her. So upon hearing that Patrick haven't seen her lately, they went ahead and notified law enforcement to go ahead and put out a missing person report so that way they can go ahead and try to locate Valerie. Now, police would go ahead and question Patrick Scott to see what he remembered of that day, and he stated that what he remembered was that he saw Valerie leave in a pale blue vehicle with a man that he didn't recognize nor was able to see his face. So Patrick would go ahead and tell the family that he feels that she may have run away, but he feels that she will come back eventually when she's ready. So then days go by, then weeks go by, then months go by, and nobody have heard from Valerie or where she may have been. And all through that time period, Patrick Scott was consoling the family, let them know like, hey, she may be all right, she'll be back anytime, just take it easy, and she'll be back when she's ready. But little did Patrick Scott know was that he was under investigation with police officers because they didn't buy his story that she just hopped in some random vehicle and disappeared. Because the fact that she hopped in a random vehicle and he didn't notify her parents to let her know that she had just upped and left pretty much raised a red flag on that part. So over the next few months, the police would obtain over 50 different search warrants over Patrick Scott's property as well as his adjoining property as well too, in the hopes of trying to locate Valerie. Now, in October of 2023, the police would go into his property with a cadaver dog and try to see if they can locate a scent of Valerie. And one thing they ended up finding out, in one part of his house, the dog ended up getting a hit on it. Now, the police had really got suspicious of Patrick when they realized that he tried to set fire to his garage. Now, upon putting the fire out, the police would go ahead and search the grounds of that property. Well, underneath all the rubble, they found 2 wooden boxes, in which one of them contained VHS tapes as well as paperwork. But in the other one, they found a gruesome sight where they actually found a body in that one. Now, upon finding the body in the box, the police would go ahead and arrest Patrick Scott. And after doing some testing of the body, it came to find out that the body belonged to 17-year-old Valerie Tindall. Now, after Patrick Scott was arrested, he would go ahead and confess to everything after police read his Miranda rights. And so this is the account of what he said happened that day. On June 7th, 2023, Patrick Scott would go on to say that once Valerie had left her home, she had met up with him across the street from the Shelbyville High School, where he picked up his vehicle and took her back over to his place, where they got into an altercation. He would say that the altercation they had got into was that Valerie was coming on to him and trying to blackmail him into buying her a new car. He stated that he had turned her down and said that he wasn't about to do anything like that. And so he said that she had got carried away, where she started taking off her clothes, where he had to fight her off. And in the process of fighting her off, he said he took his belt off, wrapped around her neck, and squeezed until she was silent. He stated that once he felt her body go limp, he knew that she was not alive anymore. So the police went in and asked him, like, did he intend to kill her? And he stated that no, it just happened. Now, what happened next, you would not believe, because he said the next thing he did was he didn't know what he wanted to do with the body. And so what he did was he drug into his home office and left it there until the next day, where he went to Home Depot, bought some supplies, where he built a box, wrapped the body up in plastic, and shoved her body into the box and then buried it in the ground. He then stated that he took Valerie's car and abandoned it somewhere, and that took the license plate and her keys and threw it into an unknown river. But he said that he wasn't crazy about killing her either. Now, the police would ask Patrick what kind of relationship he had with Valerie, in which he stated that it was nothing adult related in any kind of way. But there were rumors going around that somebody overheard Patrick telling Valerie that he was planning on taking her to lunch somewhere special in Indianapolis. And that was just hours before she vanished. He would then tell police that his wife and daughter knew nothing about this and that he kept it all to himself. So on March 11th of 2024, Patrick Scott would go ahead and take a plea deal where all he had to do was plead guilty to the murder charges, and they would drop all the other charges, where he had to do 57 years in prison, as well as pay the family $10,000 in restitution. And on top of that, he was credited 139 days time served. So that concludes our story. So what do you think? Do you feel that his story is true, where he felt that she came on to him? Or do you feel the exact opposite way around, where he came on to her and he was afraid that she was going to tell somebody and he took her life? Go ahead and put a comment down below. And if you would like more stories like this, stay tuned to my channel. I like to post at least once or twice a week.